Good afternoon, good evening, guys. This is Black and Indigenous American. Once again, I hope all is well with you all. And I hope that you're counting your blessings because it's a jungle out there, especially when you're in your own residence, minding your own business, and somebody come in your space blasting because they thought you were not entitled to be there for whatever reason. Now, as the title reads, I'm going to talk a little bit about Amber, the lady who shot and killed an innocent, unarmed man of color, aka also known as a Black man. Not saying all people of color are Black, but you know what I mean. Mind his own business, and he gets shot dead. Mistaken identity, whatever you want to call it. And then I'm going to transition into talking about the value of life. You have the same crime, but a different outcome. And so, anyway, yes, I titled it Amber Alert. But the point is, I don't know the details with this particular situation. Only thing I know is there's a white woman and a Black man involved. This white woman shoots this unarmed Black man. And fast forward today, she gets sentenced to 10 years in prison for murdering an unarmed man. That was not a threat. She probably startled him. But yeah. So anyway, again, most of us that have an opinion about what happened, we were not there. We don't know exactly what happened. We could speculate what happened, but we don't know. Okay, so obviously that's, the reality. But then I'm thinking, how could this have gone down and this woman get 10 years? And if she keeps crying and having people on her side because she's, pitiful, she's so sorry, she's so remorseful, we're going to reduce her sentence. Maybe she'll get out on parole within 5 years. So she murders someone unarmed, mind his own business, and she could possibly get out on good behavior. That's what it kind of looks like. It looks like, okay, the evidence shows that yes, you are guilty for murdering a man, and it doesn't look like it's an accident, but we're going to give you a slap on the wrist, let you have a sleepover at the, I don't know where she's going to be staying. I don't know if it's the worst prison or it's one of those prisons where you almost forget you're locked up because you have all the comforts of being at home. TV, comfortable bed, 3 square meals, possibly being around prisoners that are not aggressive, don't have a violent background. So you might be lucky enough to be like in a situation like Martha Stewart or something. That could possibly be what she's facing. A Martha Stewart kind of lockup. And on the surface, we see, she got sentenced. Oh, wow. Honestly, I was surprised the woman was convicted of murder. And that's sad because all the evidence that they presented showed that this woman did not do it by accident or whatever. So when when I heard that she was guilty, I was like, okay, that's interesting. They actually found this woman guilty in the court of law. And not just any woman. We're talking about a woman that has a law enforcement white. I was surprised. What I'm not surprised is that she only got 10 years. That's not even a lifetime sentence. Typically, when you get life in prison, it's typically at least 25 years in prison, at least for a life, technically a life sentence. So I was not surprised that that woman got 10 years. I was surprised she got convicted, but I wasn't surprised that she got 10 years. Now, a lot of people going back and forth about, the victim in this particular situation. Let's remember the victim now. I think a lot of people that kind of got sidetracked because she's crying and she's looking pitiful and she's a white woman. They forgot who the victim is. So let's not shift over here and comfort and soothe the defendant. Now she's gonna have to do a whole lot of soul searching. I mean, it is what it is. But at the same time, it's almost like the focal point has shifted from the actual victim, the one who is no longer with us in the physical, to this woman because she's crying and looking pitiful. That's a problem. That's a problem. Now, some people have a problem with the judge and the victim's brother publicly showing remorse. Well, not remorse, but compassion for this Amber person. Some people feel like it is almost like a deep subconscious brainwashing that because this woman happens to be white and she happens to appear to be remorseful and she's crying, that we should overcome and come up to this woman and publicly show the world that it's okay. Now, your brother is dead, cold in the grave. I guess, yeah, he's in the grave. And you're publicly embracing this woman. Now, I have mixed feelings. I believe in forgiveness. I do. I do believe in forgiveness. But I think a lot of that public interaction between the victim's brother and the judge, they both happen to be Black, soothing not the victim, because I almost slipped up there. She's not a victim. Soothing the defendant, the murderer, the killer. Soothing her. Letting everybody know, oh, it's okay. It's okay. We know you're sorry. Let's go back to the subconscious, the subconscious, the historical element, the historical level of that scenario. A lot of people that have to be Black got in trouble over a white woman. My own maternal grandfather pulled 12 years in jail. 12 years in jail because he liked white women. I never met him. He died way before I was born. But yeah, he pulled 12 years. And what I was told was that he loved light-skinned women. He loved white women. He would mess around with those type of women. And he must have been messing around with a white woman. And when there was some speculation or the word got out or whatever, and this is like way back in the 40s and 50s, okay? So it's not recent. So Southern Virginia, 40s, 50s. You know what went down. So she cried rape, or maybe she didn't cry rape. Maybe her family cried rape, because this was a big Black man. Now, my maternal grandfather looked like he could have been Haitian, okay? Big Black man with this white woman in Southern Virginia in the 40s or 50s. I think it was probably in the 1940s. And he ended up pulling 12 years for rape. Now, my mom's mom, my maternal mother, my maternal grandmother was a very fair-skinned woman, okay? So that's the thing, right? But anyway, like I was saying, a lot of men, Black men in particular, got in trouble just over a white woman. Either they had some very intimate interactions with each other, or maybe he smiled at her, or maybe he, winked at her. I don't know. But there's a track record. There's a track record. You don't believe it? Look it up. You don't believe it? Ask the family members that are still alive that went through the hell of burying their loved ones because over a white woman. Now, this is my disclaimer. This is my disclaimer. I do not paint all white people as the enemy. Let's just put it that way. Because you got a lot of people out there that they just paint one group of people as the enemy, or one religion as the enemy, right? That's not my style. That's not where I'm going with this. But at the end of the day, many Black, and I'm just using Black right now, okay? Many Black men, when they got in trouble, for whatever reason, there has been times that has something to do with a white woman. And they could have been minding that business, ain't even paying attention to the woman. And if she was a very devious woman, if that man didn't show her attention, she would cry rape. And then back to the Amber Alert. I mean, Amber, the killer, the defendant, the murderer of an unarmed, Black, intelligent individual. Back to Amber. You don't know. Now, I'm playing devil's advocate right now. What if she saw this man and was impressed with his demeanor? All right. Maybe she wanted him to be interested in her. They lived in the same freaking building. They lived in the same freaking building. Maybe he didn't take the bait. Maybe he ignored her. Maybe. And when things like that happen, you have some nutcases out there that will either cry rape or do something crazy. Not saying this woman did all of that. But if she did, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if she did. You never know. Hi, sweet. Thanks for chiming in. I've been on live for about maybe 10, 15 minutes, so you didn't miss much. But thanks for watching. Hopefully you're still watching. But anyway, about this whole Amber lady. Another thing that I wanted to say about that, because to me, it just seems like it's a broken record. It's just another situation that stirs up the emotions in a people that have been constantly, and of course, Black folks are not the only ones. Okay, let's not put Black people over here, and then everybody else, they didn't experience any setbacks or any discriminatory experiences. I'm not setting it up that way. I'm not. I understand there's so many people in this world that had their share of obstacles and been discriminated against, and there's so many different categories. Okay, so I want to just say that and be crystal clear, because some people, all they see are their obstacles. And so that's not where I'm coming from. But with this particular case, and being that I do come from an African American, Black American culture, it's well documented. It's well documented. One thing after another, just one thing after another. And you're thinking, okay, modern times, we have surveillance cameras, we have cell phone cameras, right? Cameras. We have auto recorders. We have all these things so we can catch them in the act. We can catch them in the act. So whoever's coming for us, we can at least show that as proof compared to word of mouth or he say, she say. Because remember, there's a mentality that you're innocent until proven guilty, unless you are a member of a group of people that already has a negative cloud over your community. So Becky with the good hair, Amber Alert, Amber Lady, and all these other people out here that are seen as being innocent until proven guilty. You know what I mean? And everybody else is guilty until proven innocent. And guess what? You're still guilty in their eyes because they feel like, well, what did you do wrong? Why were you there? Well, why did you wear your hair that way? Oh, just all these questions about why did you put yourself in that situation? Now, you're the victim, right? But yet you have that other layer of, well, why did you put yourself through that? Well, you should not have gone to that mall. That mall is uppity or whatever, and you ain't uppity. So why didn't you go to the ghetto mall over there? Why did you come to the uppity mall? You stirred up a negative reaction because you was there. You should have took it upon yourself to not go over there. That's what you should have done. Maybe if you would have done that, you would not be a victim. Mm-mm. No. The whole make America great again nonsense. No. No. Mm-mm. Ain't nobody going backwards. No one is going backwards. Unless it's a private country club where you have to have membership to get in. Other than that, you go where the hell you want to go. If it's a public place, you go where the hell you want to go. And so back to this Amber lady coming into his apartment. Now, my thing is, and again, I wasn't really paying too much of attention to the case. So I'm kind of misinformed at the moment of all the details because I haven't really been paying attention. But first thing is, okay, you are using your key to get into your apartment, but it's not your apartment. So how did you get in? So I'm thinking, if I'm not mistaken, he had the door unlocked. So I guess when she walked in, she noticed that the door was unlocked. So the first thing you think, if you come home to your residence, not someone else's residence, but your residence, you come home and you're thinking, why the hell is my door unlocked? Who's in here? So you automatically are nervous, like somebody's in my house or my apartment. And then you open a door and then there's this big black guy in your kitchen, the kitchen you thought was yours. So my thing is, okay, most people do not decorate their residence or wherever they stay identical with someone else's. Again, I don't know if the lights were on or if the lights were not on. I don't know. Apparently he was in the kitchen when she saw him. Maybe the only thing was the kitchen refrigerator door light, and there was no other light on. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. Again, the door is unlocked, I guess, because if it was locked, then your key wouldn't work. So I guess the door was unlocked. You walk in. If the lights were on, I would think you would see the furniture is different, right? The decor, the curtains, all that's different than your place. I would think so, right? If the lights were on. And instead of automatically assuming that this person that you see in this kitchen is a threat, no questions were asked, nothing, apparently. So you automatically think that this person's a threat. And without, asking questions or something, you pull your gun out and you shoot. To me, does that really make sense? I mean, there's been a couple of times over the years I accidentally go to somebody else's car because it looks like my car, and I try to get in and then realize, oh, dang, this is not my car. This is someone else's car. But I think if someone would have walked up to me who owned that car and be like, excuse me, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I thought this was my car. I have the same kind of car. Versus somebody not asking me, like, what are you doing? And just pull out a gun and shoot me, thinking I'm trying to break in that car. Like, to me, I honestly think there's so many people that are so afraid of Black people. And not just Black people, but again, for the sake of this conversation, I'm talking about Black people right now. Like for whatever reason, And it could be like a subconscious thing, knowing that you have a group of people that stem from ugliness. And when I say ugliness, I'm talking about treatment of people, treating them ugly. They stem from that. And in the back of another person's head, they're thinking, I hope this is not the day when they get power. Because, oh my God, if and when they ever have complete power, we are screwed. I don't know. Again, this is not for everybody that happen to be white. This conversation is not for everybody. If you are awakened, if you are like-minded, if you are kind-hearted and everything, you just happen to be a descendant of people that, you know what I'm trying to say, without getting into details of all the horrors. I don't blame you. I don't. But you need to recognize your position. And for all those out there who are advocates, they recognize their position. That's why they speak up. Now, I can respect them. I can definitely respect them. I actually spent a lot of time, and not just at school or at work or whatever, but a lot of time with people that just happen to be white, that have a clue. And if they kind of have a clue, I appreciate that as well, because I've been around people that kind of have a clue and they're just starting to learn, you know, how some things they don't think is offensive, but really it's like the lack of the requirement to assimilate. That's another layer right there. There's people who had to assimilate just to get through this community or this society, just so they can be just as competitive, right? That was a necessity versus someone who did not have to assimilate. So you got that too. Hi, Tony Johnson. You said, exactly, how in the hell can she not know that she was not in her own apartment? I don't understand that. Yeah. Like I said, again, if the lights were off and she come in, she's not seeing the decor, right? She's not seeing the decor. However, there's someone in the kitchen, unarmed. He doesn't have a mask on. Apparently he came out the shower. Maybe he had a towel on. I don't know. I don't know all the details. But dude didn't have a mask on or a hoodie, because, you know, some people get all nervous when somebody who has a hoodie on, you know, they think they're going to steal from them. But, like, none of that. And the point is, this dude lived in the same apartment complex. I'm sure she's seen him. Like, and again, if she walked in the room and it's dark and he's in the kitchen, the only thing open is the refrigerator door, there could have been a glare. I don't know. But to not ask questions and automatically assume that he's a threat. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think she had just came from a bar or something. So she had a couple of drinks, and I could be wrong. So maybe her common sense or her rationality or whatever went out the window because she had a little buzz. I don't know. I think that's what they was going to do, blame it on the alcohol. Yeah. Again, to me, it just doesn't make sense. If anything, I think that she may not have done what she did intentionally. For instance, I don't think that she was intentionally trying to kill a black man, but to automatically assume that this man is going to hurt you, that's a problem. That is definitely a problem. It's an ingrained psychological brainwashing. There's so many people, maybe knowingly or unknowingly, have in their psyche. Or like if someone walks in the store, they're browsing just like everybody else. If they see something they want, yeah, they'll drop down cash or credit card or whatever and go and purchase it and move on with life. But yet, they're being watched. So it's almost like it's a brainwashing that those people are more prone to steal. So we're going to watch them more. I remember I went into this one clothing store probably like 15 years ago. And this wasn't even a white woman. This was like a Hispanic woman, okay? I go in the store and I'm looking for undergarments. Let's just put it that way. And a lot of the undergarments for women who, watch this video, you know what I'm talking about. A lot of them, they're kind of like low, like the last rack close to the floor. And so you have to kind of almost get down on your knees to flip through the garments to find your size. And so I'm like kind of like looking, I'm kind of bending down a little bit. I'm looking at whatever. And this woman's like, she kept walking close to me, like acting like she's putting stuff away, like acting as if she's putting something on a rack. And I have intuition. I have that discernment. I knew what she was doing, but I played it off. And then like 2 or 3 minutes later, she comes back and then she's like, do you need anything? I said, I'm just looking, but thank you. I'll let you know if I need help, because I was trying to be civilized, AKA colonized or whatever. I tried to make her feel comfortable that I was not a threat. I was not going to steal anything. 2, 3 minutes later, she comes back, asks me the same stupid question. I said, no. And I think I said, I am looking, and I told you if I need help, I will let you know. I'm not trying to steal anything or something like that. I'm not a thief. And I said it loud enough for everybody in the store to know that I was in the store. And if they wanted to, they can look at me and see if I was putting something in my purse. So I let everybody know that I was in the store and I was not stealing. If you're trying to steal something, you'll be very quiet. You'll be sneaky, right? You'll be stuffing stuff down your pants and not trying to be seen. So I made sure that she and everybody in there heard me in there. And I said, I am not stealing. And I told you I will let you know if I need something. Because it was like other people in the store, but she kept almost like she was like following me. You know what I mean? That right there, you can try to be discreet, but with someone with intuition or with someone who comes from a community that's constantly being watched, we know you're not slick. You're not. We act dumb and we act like we don't notice you, but we notice you. We know what you're doing. Anyway, so the point is, honestly, I think this Amber chick, I think she immediately saw this man as a threat. Not, mistaken. Oh, I'm sorry. I tried my key and the door was unlocked and And what's this apartment number? I mean, did it have an apartment number on the outside of the door? That's the next question. You should know your apartment number. Like for real, for real. Like if your apartment number is 222, you go to 222 every day. Every day. You leave 222. At the end of the day, you come back to 222. That's your apartment number. So if you at 122, because apparently his apartment was either below, above her, or whatever, I would like look at the door, look at the number, like, okay, am I in the right room? Oh, I'm so sorry, I came in the wrong apartment. I apologize. But you automatically pull out your gun and shoot somebody without, like, going back. Like, I don't know. I guess I'm just different. Like, there's plenty of people I wouldn't mind choking the hell out of. And then come back like, oh, I didn't mean to choke you. I didn't see you there. I thought you were a ghost. You scared me. Who's gonna believe that? Like, come on, who's gonna believe that? You didn't know you were choking her? You didn't know you were choking her. You thought you saw a ghost. Oh, you got life in prison. Oh, better yet, you got the electric chair. Quick. Ain't nobody gonna hug me. Ain't nobody gonna rub my back and soothe me. Nope. That would have been in and out. Next. Come on, y'all. Now, another side to this saga is that you had people outside of the courtroom when they found out about the 10-year sentencing. They got very upset. And it's understandable. Because once again, you have someone who murdered an unarmed man in his apartment, mind his own business. And not only was he unarmed, mind his own business, but he had a bright future. And it's unfortunate that you see negative representations of Black men, for whatever reason, more so in this country, compared to other folks that have just as many effed up tendencies. But there's this, and not saying the issues aren't there. Oh, they're there. And there's a reason why they're there. But the point I'm trying to make is back to this victim. He had a bright future. And it made so many people so angry. So angry. He wasn't a knucklehead. He wasn't a menace to society. He had a lot going for him. And that future was robbed. You know how some people, they want the best for their loved ones, and maybe they're a lot older, right? And they didn't get a chance to live out their lives the best way they could have. So they have a loved one that's doing something, making everybody proud, the ones that love them. That's my brother. That's my uncle. That's my dad. That's my cousin. That's my best friend. We go way back. He probably was one of those individuals within his community that people looked up to. One of those individuals that people felt like, if he can do it, maybe I can do it. And so I think so many people are so angry that that's all she got. And if she keep crying and acting pitiful and saying how sorry she is not going to do 10 years. And then you got the judge and then wiping tears from her eyes with the tissue paper. And then she going over there to hug her. That woman is not going to do 10 years. Hashtag crying while white. Yeah, I said it. So she gets a lesser sentence. Now, there's been plenty of women who happen to be white that got in trouble with the law and did time. I'm not overlooking that. They got their the victims got their justice. I think there was this one woman, she was a serial killer down in Florida, I think. And she was just killing all these Johns, men that were looking for prostitutes or whatever, but they were abusive to the prostitutes, if I'm not mistaken. And she went on this killing spree. And she got locked up, and I forgot how many years she got sentenced. She might have got the death penalty. I don't remember. But she didn't get away with it. She definitely didn't get away with that. So I'm not saying just because Amber is white and crying that, no one like her gets punished. I'm not saying it. But there is a very how should I put this? There's a very odd history between women who happen to be white involved with issues that have something to do with Black people. Now, I know this is a book I'm about to talk about because I'm always reading a book or talking about a book or something. But years ago, my aunt, she let me borrow a book. And till this day, I wish this book came out into, it became a movie. But it was called Mirror Images or something like that. Because I read this in the late 90s, just so you know. I think it was called Mirror Images. And it was back in slavery time. And you had the slave master, white man, with his white family or whatever. And then he had a mistress. Sounds familiar, right? He has a mistress on the side who happened to be like a mixed woman, right? She might have been white and Black or white and native or whatever. She was very fair skinned. So the mistress and the slave master's wife both got pregnant at the same time. When both women had the babies, they were born around the same time. Those two girls came out looking like twins. Get it? Mirror images. But the child had the Black blood in her, or I should say the recent Black blood in her. She had a birthmark. And she had, like a rounder, how in the book they describe how she looked in her body or whatever, and how there were certain things about her that hinted around that she had some kind of Black influence. Like her hips were a little bit more curvier, you got that hourglass kind of shape thing going on. But for the most part, the two sisters looked identical. Back to the master's wife. She had it in for the mistress and the mistress' child. And fast forward, I'm not going to give the whole story, because you might even want to go out and read the book if you're interested in it. Towards the end of this book, that woman has so much hate in her that it backfired. There was a scene in the book where she ordered 2 black men to rape somebody, to get back at somebody. And if that ain't hate, I don't know what is. If that's not demonic, I don't know what that is. If that's not low vibrational energy, then I don't know what that is. If that's not destructive energy, I don't know what that is. And that stemmed from the hatred of a white woman. Makes you wonder. Because whenever you think of racist folks or hateful folks, you typically think of white middle-aged men. Now, they may have their opinions about, race or whatever, but guess what? They would get down with someone who ain't white. They may not marry them or whatever like that, but they want a little taste. But when it comes to a racist white person that happened to be a woman, ooh, that is some deep stuff. I mean, that is deep. And part of that was jealousy. Again, back to the book. She's like, how dare he lay with that? Because that person is not white. I am the prettiest thing on earth. I am the most beautiful, the gorgeous thing on earth. How dare you lay with that? Oh yeah, it's deep. So anyway, the book is called Mirror Images. Again, if you do some searching or whatever, you may be able to find it. I don't even know if it's still in, I forgot what they call it when a book is no longer available. I don't know. I think a few years back, I tried to look for it on Amazon and I couldn't find it. But I believe it was called Mirror Images. And you know what I think I might do? Whenever I go back home, I think I might go to my aunt's house because she has a bookshelf and I really didn't pay any attention to it over the years. But I'm gonna actually go and look at her bookshelf to see if that book is still there. But yeah, that book was deep. Then you have Rosewood. Rosewood was actually based, I think it was called Rosewood. I think it was based on a true story. And they made it into a movie. And the mom from Good Times was in this movie. Yeah, it was called Rosewood. It came out in 1997. Yep. It was based on true events. And all of that started with a white woman crying rape. And everything just fell apart after that. Because she was the pitiful one. She was the weak one. How dare you touch the white woman? How dare you even make her feel uncomfortable? How dare you? And for that, we're going to slaughter all of y'all. Just saying. So anyway, let's see, Rosewood. Like I said, 1997. I'm looking at Wikipedia. It says American historical drama film directed by John Singleton, while based on historic events of the 1923 Rosewood Massacre in Florida. Yeah, it was Florida. When a white mob killed black people and destroyed their town, The film introduces fictional characters and changes from historic accounts. In a major change, it stars Bing Rams, an outsider who comes into Rosewood and inspires residents to self-defense, wielding his pistols in a fight. The supporting cast includes Don Cheadle as Sylvester Carrier, a resident who was a witness, defender of his family, and victim of the riot, and John Bolt as John Wright, a sympathetic white store owner who lives in Rosewood. The three characters become entangled in an attempt to save people from racist whites attacking the blacks of Rosewood. Despite generally favorable reviews, the film was not a commercial success, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, if you haven't seen the movie, I'm sure it's floating around somewhere. Again, it's called Rosewood. That's one word, and it came out in 1997. And if you can sit through this movie and not shed a tear, what is wrong with you? I'm not a Philly, wear my feelings on my sleeve type person, but that movie right there, I'm still trying to sit here and just think of how a group of people, how some members of a particular group of people can be so destructive because of a lie that stemmed from a white woman. She was covering up the mess that she was doing and blamed it on a black man and cried rape to cover up her mess. So, Amber Alert, Amber, that gets 10 years. Sweet says, I saw that too. Oh, yes, I watched that movie. It's a movie on Tubi or Prime Video called Mandingo. This is one you should see. Mandingo. I think I've seen a Mandingo. I think. Let me see. Mandingo. Came out in 75. I'm looking at Wikipedia now. Wow. Yeah, I can already see I'm gonna be mad if I watch the movie. I might check it out when I'm in a space where I can take it in. But thanks for suggesting Mandingo, Sweet. It also reminded me, when I just glanced at the description or the plot of that movie, it did remind me of Beloved. That's one of those movies I wanted to support. It was an Oprah thing or whatever. I said I would never see that movie ever again. Never, ever see that movie again. I mean, I think what did it for me is when the character was pregnant, 9 months pregnant. 9 months pregnant. And she was raped by a gang of evil, I'm going to just call them avatars. Low vibrational avatars. And they had the nerve to take her milk. Now, I'm not a mother. I haven't birthed any children as of yet. And last time I checked, when a woman is almost at the phase of delivery, her milk is ready for her baby. And that scene when that man took her milk while the other men were raping her. And then that scene when they finally was done with her, left her, and then she got up and tried to run away, and she had blood running down her legs. And some people wonder why some people are angry. Why are you so angry? Why do you always have an attitude? Now, I don't carry myself that way, but I don't forget. And I'm an old soul, and I don't forget. Treat people the way I want to be treated. At the end of the day, I choose to treat people the way I want to be treated. But I'm an old soul. And when I see shows and movies like that, when I read stories like that, it's just not a story. It's just not a movie. It's just not a script. I take it personal because I'm an old soul. And another scene from Beloved that it hurt me, but I did understand the psychological war that was going on, was when I think it was Oprah's character, but a younger version of her character. Her old master was on a horse and buggy, and he was coming down a dirt road, and she, even though this was after slavery, something triggered in her. Master's coming. Master's coming. He's going to take my babies. He's going to take my babies. And she ran with her children into this barn to keep them from being enslaved. Now, I don't know how often this happened, but it did happen, where you would have mothers taking the lives of their children so their children wouldn't have to suffer the life of a slave. And when she took two of her children's lives, she was trying to take the third child's life, but somebody ran in there and caught that baby. And the old master, because he went in there like, what's wrong with her? Why is she hollering, screaming? Why the kid's screaming? You know, he knows him. And when he walked in there, he was like, something about beast or devil or something. It's like he didn't understand, how could a mother take her kids' own lives? She would rather see them dead than for them to live a life of a slave. Now that's deep. And that hurt me to my core. I was like, okay, I'm going to support this movie and watch, but I never again will I watch this movie. And I never saw it again. I said, that's all I needed. Because to me, it wasn't just a movie. It was like I was almost reliving a dark time. And so fast forward to Amber Alert, the former law enforcement member. I don't know if she got a slap on her wrist as well because she was law enforcement at one time. You know? Because they have their little club too. They protect their own for the most part. Unless you don't play by their rules and you call some people out, then they'll have it out for you. But for the most part, it's like their little clique, you know, that they're going to look after their own. They may have her, like I said, chilling in a Martha Stewart type of facility. Comfortable. Because she was one of them. Making sure she don't get messed with. So it's really not a prison sentence. Making sure the angry black women don't come after her and shank her. Just saying. Just saying. Yeah, sweet, that was deep. Like that movie, Beloved. I've watched my share of slavery movies and shows. I mean, I'm about to watch another one with Harriet Tubman coming out. It's coming out, I think, next month, I think. Harriet Tubman. Let me see. Yeah, it's coming out. Make sure I'm looking at the right one. Yeah. I think it's coming out either November or December. One of many people that I admire and I honor, Harriet Tubman. Yeah, she's the business. She's definitely the business. Okay, the release date is November 1st. The Harriet Tubman movie. I think it's just called Harriet Tubman. Or it may be just called Harriet. That's what I think it is. But anyway, I've watched my share of slavery movies. And you remember the movie Queen or the TV show? Well, it was a TV series movie, Queen, with Halle Berry. She played in that. And yeah, that one, Roots. Most people have heard of Roots. Yeah, just a laundry list of different movies that has something to do with slavery. I've seen my share of them. And I've gotten to the point now, like, I don't want to keep looking at movies with black folks suffering and struggling or whatever like that. Like when Black Panther came out, I was like, finally, we have excellence. You know, we're not being portrayed as either victims or villains. You know what I mean? Even though there were some villains in the movie, but it wasn't just villains. You had the hero and you had the villain. So anyway, yeah, Sweet says, yes, I watch them time to time. Yeah, slavery movies or whatever. But at the same time, I think there should be a balance. There should be also imagery of excellence, imagery of triumph, right? I did like Django, how that ended out. Yeah, I really liked how Django ended. Because even though it was a lot of stuff that went down in that movie that I wanted to I love myself some Leonardo DiCaprio, but being that he's such a great actor, I hated him and I hated Samuel L. Jackson for a minute. But the ending was priceless. I love the ending. And I hate to admit that I love the ending, but you know what? There's a time to kill. For those who say turn your cheek and all that stuff, go look up the scripture that said there's a time to kill. And I think it's in Ezekiel something. You minding your business. You shouldn't be going around just killing people just to be killing people. You cross the threshold. Just saying. Now back to Amber Alert. Poor Amber. Boo-hoo-hoo, Amber. Soothe me, Amber. I'm the victim, but I'm not the victim, but I am the victim, Amber. What if the tables turn? What if she came in there? He was startled. He pulled out his gun, shot her cold blood. How would that go down? Last time I checked, if someone enters your home, you have the right to put them down. Unwelcome guest. How would that go down? Right? The right to bear arms and all that stuff. How would that go down? How do you guys? This is a question. And usually I don't have a question or questionnaire. How do you guys think that would have went down? Oh, they would have thought of all different types of scenarios. Not what happened to cause him to protect himself, self-defense. Not that way of thinking about it, but why is he guilty? No, why is he not guilty? Because he already guilty. Remember that. Just saying. Just saying. So anyway, Ezekiel 3:3 is the scripture that I'm thinking about for all you guys out there that rely heavily on the biblical scriptures. King James Version. Many of you rely heavily on that version. It says, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break and a time to build up. And I'm sure some people will dissect the hell out of a time to kill. Oh, that means a nation going to war versus individual people. Oh, if our nation go to war, then it's a time to kill. If someone comes in my house or whatever and I'm defending myself, oh, then that's murder. Oh, they got all different types of ways to tiptoe around different words and phrases and interpretations and all that stuff. Whatever. My thing is, treat people the way you want to be treated. Cross the threshold. Just saying. Just saying. So Sweet says, I am so glad that I was not born, raised in that time. Yeah. I don't know how I would be. I feel like I probably will be a rebel. And maybe I was in a past life. Maybe my life was cut short, you know. I just with my, at least my zodiac sign in this lifetime is a Libra. Okay? I want balance. I seek balance. I seek justice. Not this wishy-washy type justice system that we have now. I mean, I seek justice. And yeah, I don't think I would have lived long back in the day. I feel like I'll probably be Harriet Tubman, like for real, for real. Now coming back to save folks, that's different. I don't know if I would have came back 2-3 times, and well, I don't think I will. I don't think I will come back and try to rescue people I wasn't related to, because that in of itself is dangerous. I went to Cambridge, Maryland, maybe a couple of years ago, and I went to the museum there that's in the town of Cambridge, and I also went to the newer museum, an exhibit or whatever that's honoring Harriet Tubman. The birthplace is Cambridge, Maryland. And so when I went to the first museum there, a little small museum in the actual town, they showed like the routes and the maps of, you know, like the different ways that she was able to get people up north and how she came back and all that stuff. And yeah, it was amazing. So anyway, I am due for another slavery movie. So I'll be watching that movie when it comes out. You know, I'm kind of done talking about Amber Alert right now. It is what it is. And again, if she's on good behavior and she's pitiful and crying and doing all that stuff in jail, then she'll probably get out. I think, again, you should treat people the way you want to be treated. I believe, yes, people should forgive and move on, but there's also repercussions. So when the victim's brother said, I don't want you to go to jail, I just want you to give your life to Christ and da-da-da. And, you know, I forgive you and all that. I understand the forgiveness aspect of it because you want to keep your vibrations up. You want to keep your vibrations very high. You don't want your vibration to go down, right? I understand that aspect of it. And that's part of forgiveness. But I also believe in karma. I also believe in the universal law of cause and effect. So even though he forgave her and gave her a hug and she crying and all that on national TV, and the judge wiping her tears and going over there to hug her too, that woman is going to experience what she needs to experience sooner or later to make things right. And it may not be this lifetime. I wouldn't necessarily say the woman's going to go to hell. I'm definitely on a different wavelength with the concept of hell. Many people are living in their hell right now. They don't have to wait till they die to experience hell. They're experiencing it right now. That family that lost their loved one due to Amber Alert, they're experiencing their hell now. So as far as that whole, when you die, you go to hell or whatever. You go where you, whatever you create in your being and your psyche. So I don't necessarily think I'm gonna go to hell for killing. I don't think that. What I do believe is, like all of us, whatever we did or are going to do that is very low in vibration, we're going to have to bring it to a balanced level sooner or later. We're going to have to do something good or whatever to bring it back up again. So yeah, that's where I am right now. Like, I'm not even angry with the woman. I'm not. I understand the psychological trauma and like subconscious things that was presented to us on a national level, actually a global level, when we saw the images of this woman crying. And then you had these two Black folks embracing her. It's okay. It's okay. It's going to be all right. It's okay. Why are you soothing her? At the end of the day, she's going to do what she needs to do. And again, with me believing in karma and things of that nature, she's going to make it right. She has time, right? We may not witness her making it right. It might be some other time, but she's going to make it right. But the whole publicly hugging or whatever, I have mixed feelings about that. I definitely have mixed feelings about that, the public thing. Yeah. You can forgive all you want, because unforgiveness will kill you. It will suck the life out of you when you don't forgive people. But the public display for the whole world to see, it's okay, massa. It's okay. We's gonna be okay. We's gonna be all right. I know some of y'all understand what I'm talking about. There's this thing within, I would say, the Black community, not just the Black community, but right now I'm just saying the Black community. It's this thing where people feel like they have to go out of their way to make oppressors entertained, to make oppressors comfortable, or at least the beneficiaries of the oppressors. Because as soon as they feel uncomfortable, they start creating laws and making your life a living hell. So let's not upset them. Let's not do that. Let's not upset them. Because things are already the way they are now. We don't want no more trouble. Now hush up now. Hush up. You're going to bring trouble to us. You know where I'm going with that. So this public display of crying and hugging and all of this. The judge, a Black woman, maybe something else, but I'm assuming she presents herself and she self-identifies as a Black woman. Gets up out of her chair, aka her throne, and walks down to hug Becky with the good hair. I understand what's going on with it. Many of you guys may understand what's going on with it. Right now, I'm thinking about Samuel L. Jackson in Django. Now, that was in your face. That definitely was in your face. But either today or yesterday, whenever that video was shown on the news, it was a subtle visual of the same thing. You ain't gonna mess up what I got going on here. I got a good thing going on right here. So I'm gonna get up off of my throne and I'm gonna walk down and show the whole world that it's okay. Because I got a good thing going on right here. Makes you wonder. It definitely makes you wonder. Well, most of us, it's not a surprise. It's not a surprise at all. Now, maybe something good will come out of this. I do believe so, especially on a spiritual level. Like on a spiritual level, things will balance out. Now, the question is, will we experience that and we will witness that in our lives now, our physical lives now? That's the big question. But eventually it will balance itself out. There has to be destruction and chaos and friction and all that before something beautiful is created. Before there's peace and joy and harmony. So right now, this is what we're experiencing. We're experiencing things that just don't make sense. And you think, is this ever going to end? Yes, it's going to end. And then some of us may look back like, you know what? I lived through that and this is how it went down. And then, 2 or 3 generations after, you be like, oh, I can't believe you lived through that. Like, what was going on? That was crazy. Like, yeah, it was, but we had to deal with it. Ain't that right, mister? Had to deal with it. But all in all, it all works out. It always works out. So yes, forgive. Release yourself from the chains of that dimension. Do that. However, with the past experiences, fast forward it to current times, the underlying scenario. And have you ever wondered, like, people that are so like, my right to bear arms, right? I also believe that you should have the right to bear arms. You should have the right to protect yourself and your loved ones and your property. And I guess because I come from the South, and I guess because, I come from an environment that is pro right to bear arms. So maybe that's kind of why I feel that way too. But I believe you should be able to protect yourself. You know, protect your property, protect your loved ones. And there is a time to kill. The problem is you got people who are crazy and they go out looking for people to kill and then blame them on the alcohol or whatever. You sneezed or something. But anyway, guys, it's after 8 o'clock. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Sweet and Tony, for chiming in. I appreciate your interaction. Thanks, guys, for those who are watching. I'm thankful for those who will watch this later. That's pretty much all I have to say. Like, I don't feel upset. I don't feel any hatred. But I'm not surprised either. And I guess where I am right now with my journey, I know it's important not to stay in a vibe that's not going to help me elevate spiritually. So a lot of things that are happening right now is probably all a distraction to keep us from not focusing on what really matters. Like this right here, all of this is a shell, or almost kind of like an avatar. Remember the movie Avatar? It's like this right here is like our avatar. This is not us, right? This is not us. What's in us as far as spiritually, that's who we really are. And so when we leave this shell, when the time comes, our spirit moves on and do its thing. And who cares what you look like at that point, right? At that point, that doesn't matter. All of these distractions, decade after decade, has nothing to do with the bigger picture. It's an illusion. And so that's just where I am right now. And I know some people are not where I am right now. They're looking at the current reality and this is what happened. And I'm furious. Okay, being furious but not doing anything is doing nothing. I mean, I'm all about activism and everything like that. I mean, I've had my share of rallies and protests and marches that I've attended, right? Because again, I want people to have equality, and not just people, but every living creature or whatever. You know, everyone and everything has value. And when that individual or whatever that is devalued, that's an imbalance. And it doesn't just affect that particular ecosystem or that particular demographics. It affects all of us eventually because we're one anyway. I mean, right now is this whole universe is like a puzzle. And we're kind of scattered. You know, the galaxy, got a galaxy over there, a star over there, a planet over there, a country over there, a town over there, a house over there. You know what I mean? It's scattered. But we're all pieces of this one big puzzle. And we're all one. So when one person or one creation is negatively affected and devalued, we all are not balanced. And again, I seek balance. There needs to be balance. If the law is like this, it should be for the same across the board. Not, oh, well, this is the zoning area over here and we do things this way. No. If the law said you cannot do X, Y, and Z, it should not matter where you are in the entire hemisphere or the entire globe. It should be the same daggone law. You cannot cut and burn down 98% of the trees. Or you cannot just kill, members of this particular community just because it makes you uncomfortable to see them. If that's the law, then guess what? You're a target too. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And the world will be definitely a better place. But we're all on different paths, and I understand some people's path, at least in this lifetime, is a destructive path. And there's a reason why it's destructive. There's a reason. And one thing that I just thought about, Moses in the Bible and Pharaoh in the Bible. Pharaoh's heart was hardened, according to the Bible. His heart was hardened by God. The point was God hardened Pharaoh's heart so the land, the people will know who really was in charge. And then after that, whatever. But the point is, he had a purpose. Pharaoh had a purpose. And to this day, people still talking about him. To this day, people are still talking about that Pharaoh. And he was obviously not the only Pharaoh, obviously. But he had a purpose. And I think if that Pharaoh wasn't so harsh, people would probably still be in slavery. Master, he's a good master. He feed us, clothed us, got us somewhere to stay and everything. Oh, we ain't gonna mess this up. We gonna stay slaves. We gonna stay right here. No. So sometimes there are characters in life that have been placed and destined and ordained to be destructive, to wake us up. And we got a clown right now in the White House doing the exact same thing. He's waking us up. Anyway, I have to go, but thanks for, again, chiming in. Sweet says, thanks for the video. Everyone is talking about this. You are right. We have to focus on positive things and to learn from it. Yes, we have to learn from it and move forward. And those who have an open heart and mind and spirit and want to understand, then we can help them understand. Some people are just so closed-minded or whatever. They, in due time, will figure it out. In due time. May not be this lifetime, but they will figure it out. But in the meantime, and in between time, be blessed, stay blessed, be a blessing to others. Until next time, toodles, guys.